Hello! You might have seen videos of me doing embroidery in my shop window, but I don't have a shop anymore, and I will talk about that in this video. So everyone's been asking where to now, and that's what I'm excited to show you. My name is Ali Dibley, and I'm an embroidery artist. What am I now? I used to introduce myself as a dressmaker because I made custom wedding dresses for a very long time. And my favourite part of making wedding dresses was always embellishing them with embroidery and beading designed specially for each client. I love all kinds of decoration and sparkles. But after a post-COVID wedding boom that led to us making 25 dresses in 1 year, I had had my fill of dressmaking and decided to stop offering bridal services and just concentrate on my vintage dress rental business. Thing is though, I really missed doing embroidery. I decided to offer custom embroidery and beading as a standalone service, but all I'd really done about that was put a page on my website. Hardly anyone even knew that I did embroidery. So I needed to put the word out, and I had the advantage of having a brick and mortar store. So rather than put a sign in my shop window, I put myself there, and I made this video.
I own a vintage dress hire shop, but I'm also a dressmaker and embroiderer. I love doing custom embroidery and beading, and for the last 10 years I've applied that skill to making custom wedding dresses. I've always wanted to branch out a bit more with my embroidery, work on custom pieces that aren't always wedding dresses, maybe doing freelance work for film and theatre costuming, helping other designers produce embroidered pieces, or even just making cute little things to sell in store. It's always been a one-day thing for me, and there's no day like today, so for the next 4 weeks I'm doing a sort of artist in residency program in my own shop window. We've always just had mannequins which we dress each week from our vintage collection, and the clothes are beautiful, but they don't tell the full story of what goes on in this beautiful little shop. I woke up the other day with an idea. Why not set up a cozy, magical little workspace right there in the window? People will actually be able to see me doing what I love doing most, and I'll finally get to enjoy some natural light. Of course, I immediately wanted to rearrange the entire store, then go out and buy cute vintage decor to complete my setup. But my mantra has always been to just start. Start today with what you already have. So I started. Today I moved a mannequin out of the way and sat in the window sewing. Some people stopped to chat or look at what I was doing, but most walked straight past, which honestly really helped me feel less self-conscious. I was worried about feeling like a monkey at the zoo, but instead I just felt like an artist. I loved sitting by the window, and I worked without distraction for a couple of hours. And I got to see every dog that walked past. I don't know whether I'll do this all year round. I can see summer being a problem. But I'm going to keep it up for a while and make my little work area a bit nicer to look at. If you're in Marrickville and you see me, say hi. If you're not, follow along here for the ride. And think about what you could start today.
People really responded to that video. I started getting work from it straight away, and so many customers and friends and even total strangers made a point of approaching me in real life to tell me that they loved what I was doing. But more importantly, I loved what I was doing. Working in my window taught me that I actually love working outside, or as close to outside as I could get while still looking after my shop. I would always have the door wide open so I had the fresh air coming in. The natural light makes a huge difference, and I don't really care what the weather's like as long as I actually feel like I'm in the real world rather than being tucked away somewhere like the back of the shop or on my couch in the evenings working by a dim little lamp. It also showed me that I don't need a particularly big workspace, and when I'm working on a project, I don't need all my materials at hand. What I'm getting at is I discovered that my work is way more portable than I thought, and that I can actually do it anywhere. I want to give you a bit of background. I didn't actually grow up in Sydney. I've lived in a few different places, randomly alternating between small towns in country New South Wales or various places in Southeast Asia. And that's not for any particularly interesting reason, apart from that my parents love an adventure, and so do I. The funny thing is, as much as I love travelling, for me, the ultimate adventure was always to live in Sydney. I used to love coming here to visit family or see musicals. And when I was a kid, I actually thought it was always sunny in Sydney. I never really connected that we almost always visited in summer. Anyway, I first moved here in 2007 for uni, and I'm still not sick of it. There's so many more adventures to be had, and after running a shop full-time for 7 years, I was itching to get outside. And so I've been doing exactly that, snatching any spare moment I can get to get outside and spend time being creative and working with my hands. Sydney is a beautiful city, and even though it can feel big and busy sometimes, there are so many quiet little corners to get out and enjoy nature. I love that I can just hop on a train or a ferry and go for a quick bushwalk, or sit by the harbour and watch the water sparkle in the sun. I'm obviously not the only person who loves being outside, Walk through any park on a nice day and there are people everywhere, exercising, so many people running, walking dogs, playing with kids, reading, even working on their laptops. So could I work on my embroidery outside? It's not like I have a shop to look after anymore. So you probably want to know what happened there. I know it all seemed a bit sudden to some people, but it was actually a long time coming. I had so much fun running that shop, and I was really proud to have survived the pandemic and built up such a beloved local small business. But it was always just that, a very small local business, and a very niche one at that. And that's what I liked about it. It had the potential to be bigger, but if I'm honest with myself, I never wanted to run a big business. I just liked running my weird little shop. And when I was able to cover all the expenses easily, it was a lot of fun. The only real stress came from meeting wedding dress deadlines, and when that got too much, I cut back on the bridal work, which did drastically reduce my income, but at the time that didn't really matter. I could still cover the rent and wages and everything because the dress rental side of the business was doing really well. And then this whole cost of living crisis started creeping up on us all. There was no one big moment that changed everything. The numbers just started going down and never came back up. It affected everyone. They even wrote a story in the Daily Telegraph, and I was the main feature photo. That's me, Mayor of Struggletown. I was struggling for a while, and having fun at the same time. Obviously it's complicated. Lots of things can be true at the same time. I loved my business, but I was struggling a lot. But the more I struggled, the less I loved it. And I slowly realised that I don't have to struggle. Running your own business makes it very hard to differentiate between your work and your life because it's all so personal. But at the end of the day, it is your job. And if you're not finding your job rewarding anymore, it's okay to change that. I'd realised ages ago that my favourite part of my job was my embroidery work. So it made no sense to just keep plugging away at a whole other business that at this point had been losing money for over a year. I hate admitting that to people, by the way, but I think it's true of a lot of businesses and not enough people are talking about it. It is tough to talk about and even think about. But once I started thinking about what my life could look like without the shop and its many, many expenses, I just felt more and more certain about closing that business and entering my artist era. So I was thinking about how I would work without the shop, like how I would set up my workspace at home. I entertained the idea of renting a studio somewhere or signing up to one of those co-working places, but I didn't want to do any of those things. I have the privilege of living in one of the most beautiful cities in the world, so why not make it my workplace? Why not have a change of scenery every day? I can choose where to work based on the weather, my mood, which flowers are in season. It's free, and it does wonders for the old mental health. So join me on my adventures. Subscribe to my channel and we'll go exploring together. I'll work on my art and we'll have lots of chats about creativity and self-employment and nature and whatever else you want to hear about. I'll show you my favourite places and I'm hoping you'll recommend some of yours. I've become a bit of a park bench enthusiast lately, so if you spot one in deep shade with a nice view, please tell me about it. My videos won't be super frequent because I'm not a TV producer. I'm going for quality over quantity. I do think you'll enjoy them though. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and follow me on Instagram or TikTok so you don't miss anything. In my next video, I'll show you the work I did in collaboration with Made 590, which was one of the jobs I got from that first video of me working in the window. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you around. This video was filmed and produced on Aboriginal land. I'd like to acknowledge the Gadigal, Wangal and Camaragal people as the traditional owners of this beautiful land where I live, work and sew. I pay my respects to elders past and present. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land.